Welcome back to the School Hours CEO podcast. I'm your host, Danielle, and joining me today is my very good friend, the beautiful, the lovely Pam Morrissey. Pam is a life coach, energy activator, and human design guide who helps ambitious women, especially those navigating chronic illness, reclaim their energy, release the guilt, and step into their power as the CEO of their life and their business. And Pam, I am so excited that you're here today. So let's start with your story. What led you to do this work, and how was your own journey navigating chronic illness shaped the way that you support other women navigating the same things?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I feel like we're having a full circle moment right at this former client. So it's just beautiful to kind of be here in this space with you. And so my story really began super early on in 20s when I got diagnosed with chronic migraines. Then at age 30, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Then at age 25, I got diagnosed with endometriosis. So it's been like this history of illness that has plagued me and my life. So there was just so much pain and so much stress and so much anxiety that comes with that. And it just became evident that I couldn't continue living my life the way that I was living it, and that something really needed to shift in order for me to have the impact that I knew at a soul deep level that I was here to make. Because I always had this inner knowing of, I am meant to change lives. I am meant to help people. I am meant to be of service. And so I was like, okay, we need to work on this. So I really started with my physical health and focusing on getting my body into a better place. I was 300 pounds. I was very sick, really reliant on prescription medication to help me get through my days, like a whole bag of the stuff. Like it was brutal. And so I lost 100 pounds. I ran from my diagnoses. I was so fearful of losing my life. I was so fearful of not having the impact that I wanted to make. Like it was fully motivated by, not empowered at all. And then so I got to that place where I had lost all this weight and everyone was celebrating me and they were like, you look so good. And I'm like, I feel terrible. Like, I felt so terrible. And I'm like, no, there's something still missing. Like I haven't figured this out. So I recognized by tuning into my body, I could recognize that my mind was really ruling the show. And my mindset was just not good. And I could feel myself constantly falling into the victim mentality. I'm a victim of my life. And then I would get motivated for a little while, and then I would fall into the victim pattern. And so that's when I met you. And I was like, mindset and manifestation. Yes, please. That sounds like magic and fun. And folks, I came to work with you. We worked together for 2 years, did some beautiful work together where I really recognized what was missing was my connection to myself and to my spirit and to who I'm really meant to be. And I was living someone else's version of my life. Like it wasn't my life. It was who society told me to be. It was what my experiences taught me. It was like my personal beliefs and my personal stories and my those personal it was such a match, truly misexpressed. So if you aren't experiencing that misexpress, I feel you. I see you. How I transitioned from working in travel to working as a wellness coach, which is where I started, was by recognizing that I had come so far and I had so much wisdom to impart. And I saw women focusing on the physical. I saw them working on the mental, and I saw them working on the spiritual, but no one was working on all of it. Like it was all so separated. And then it was this beautiful homecoming to and welcoming to human design based on you and your recommendation, by the way. Like that was like, this is it. Like this is the roadmap that shows you how to do it so much easier. And like, so it's like, it was really calling. It was like all of these experiences that I had go through in order to help other women go through it so much easier and with so much more energy and doing what they love every single day.
Oh, I love that so much. And I love that you take that holistic approach and then also incorporate human design to make it like this holistic approach on steroids. Because like you said, I mean, I am no human design expert. It's funny because I came in saying, you need to learn your human design. And you were like, I don't know where to start. And I said, just like Google it and figure out what you are. And I mean, you can attest to this. It is a rabbit hole. You need to, and I say to people all the time, like I fully, and I will die on this hill. Everybody should have, especially entrepreneurs, but everybody, I think, should have just at least a basic understanding of what their human design is. And by basic, I mean, you should understand what your profile numbers are. So I'm a 1-3, for example. That's what I mean by that. You should understand what your decision-making authority is, which I'm emotional for anybody who's interested, and what your energy type is. So I'm a manifester. And so and this is what I was bringing to you in our call. I remember the call when we were talking about this, and I said, look, I'm not an expert, but what I know is having this basic understanding of what being a 1-3 emotional manifester means. It just gives me permission to be who I am and to understand how I operate. And just before we hopped on this recording, Pam and I were quickly just talking about these realizations I had made based on what I'm working towards and how I'm setting my future self up for success, but also very much aware that the way that I'm doing that could very easily lead to burnout if I'm not careful about the way that I'm incorporating it into my everyday life now, right? And if I didn't have a basic understanding of human design and I wasn't taking the same kind of holistic approach that you're taking, I would for sure burn out because that's what happens, right? So your mission is just so beautiful. And I understand, it's all about helping hardworking women navigate life and chronic illness with more energy and ease because it gets to be easy. So what does ease really look like in a practical sense? Because I think when we talk about things being easy, and I know this was a conversation that we've had in the past, letting things be easy can be way harder than it sounds. So what does ease really look like in a practical sense, especially for moms and women who feel anything but easeful right now?
I love this question. I think it's beautiful because I always talk about it from the perspective of ease instead of easy, because it's more simple than it is easy. It's about not complicating it. As human beings, we're so good at making it complicated. And most of us, I think, and me especially, which Danielle can attest to, because we had this conversation a lot over the time that we were together. I had this underlying belief that life was hard. And because I had this underlying belief that life was hard, everything was hard. Like literally going to the grocery store was a trial. Like every single thing was just so, so difficult. And being able to recognize those stories and being able to say, no, I don't want to believe this, regardless of how much evidence I have of this being true. I don't have to believe it. I can subscribe to something completely different. I can change my entire perspective. I decide that I want to play with this. How can I let this be easy? How that became such a big practice for me to be like, here I am doing this, and this is my plan. How can I make it fun? How can I make it easy? How can we up it? And without even knowing it, I was aligning to my design. I'm a generator, and we are meant to be joyful, and we are meant to be sparkly, and we're meant to be fun. Like that is part of what we're here to do, is to make things more joyful and exciting. And so before even knowing anything about human design, just allowing myself to be like, how can I make it easy? How can we make this more fun? I can prioritize what needs to happen and allowing my body to lead the way in that has been like the biggest part, like the biggest shift in letting it be easy. Because I'm not going to lie, and say that it's always easy. Like there's an enormous amount of trust that comes with living your life this way, of deciding I no longer want to be burnt out. I no longer want to be stressed out. I no longer want to be missing time with my family. I want to live my life by these sets of values. I have these standards, and this is what I'm working for. And when the whole outside world is telling you, no, you need to do this and go this way and do it this way, and your body is like, no, I need to go this way, that's really uncomfortable. Like comfortable. So you have to be like having a guide, someone to help you, and a tool like human design. Like having the tool of human design is it's your literal roadmap. Every question you have can be found in human design. Like it is such a beautiful thing. So it's being able to be comfortable with the discomfort and recognizing the ease comes from you deciding to trust in yourself, trust in your body, and trust in the process.
Yes, I love that so much. And something I kind of want to highlight is part of the discomfort of, and I've experienced this myself, and I know you have, because like you said, it came up in our sessions. Part of the discomfort is not only just the trusting and that whole piece, which is in itself a lot, but also, and I don't want to get into the whole conspiracy of it, but society doesn't raise us to listen to our body, like you were kind of just touching on. Society teaches us that you need to be busy, blood, sweat, and tears, work 40 hours, go into debt, blah, blah, blah. This is how life should be. And so for me, among my, my mom friends, my, single moms, single women without kids, all of it, even my own parents, my parents-in-law, it's not the normal way to live your life. So people are constantly looking at me like something is wrong with me, like I've got two heads. Like, who do you think you are that your life gets to be easy like that? Which of course, for people who are entrepreneurs, is really tricky because, I grew up, and I know you did grow up around people who have employee mindset, right? And so they're very much trained to be in the time money perspective. And for us, especially leaning into your human design, and especially leaning into being a light worker of sorts, we understand that the universe allows us, I very much mix the woo and the do, right? The universe allows us to leverage our natural talents and gifts. And the payoff is that we get to have these like really great expansive experiences where we are receiving more money than time was being spent. Like it doesn't in the matrix of it, it doesn't make sense, right? And so that's uncomfortable for some people. And then that makes it uncomfortable for us because we watch them kind of react to what we're saying and how we're spending our time and what we're doing and how much, it's not about how much money we're making, but it does come up in conversation with certain people, right? Is the exchange of energy, and they just don't seem to get it. And it's very uncomfortable, right? So many of the moms that I talk to feel exhausted, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. So, and for a lot of reasons. So can you, Pam, share one or two shifts that have helped your clients create more energy without doing more? And maybe also touch on, no, let's start with there. Just one, I'm going to lead into the second question in a minute. Just one or two shifts that have helped your clients create more energy without actually doing more.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I am the queen of like having more fun, getting more done. Like, please, like, let me have fun and get more done at the same time. Like, so really the very first step, and I do this all the time in all the places, is surrender, right? Like you need to remove the resistance because so you need to surrender to what is. And I don't mean this from a place of I'm resigned. Like it's not resignation. It's acceptance. You are where you are in this moment. Like whatever that is, whether that's what you want, whether that's beautiful, whatever that is, you are where you are. And so surrendering to that moment and allowing yourself to be with yourself, to be with your body is the first step. Like you need to be able to hear what it is your body needs. Like that, and slowing down and surrendering has to be that first step, because you relax. Like you just feel not, your body won't allow it. Like if you want, right? So that surrender piece, and then the standards and values piece. So it's really having these non-negotiable practices, these standards for your life that support your values. So getting really crystal clear on what it is you want, what it is you're working towards, why it's important to you, and then having this set of practices that supports that, that's really easy for you to maintain. I mean, really easy. We are making it as simple as possible and as aligned to you and your design as possible to help you be able to maximize what you're doing in the shortest amount of time, while still giving yourself time to breathe and rest and be.
Yes, I love that. And it's so funny because before we hopped on, I was telling you, you're confirming what I was telling you before we hopped on, where I was telling Pam about, at the time of recording, I'm setting up my summer so that I can work as minimally as possible. And I have the space to follow any urges that I get. As a manifestor, I have creative urges and they come in, and I, one of the blessings of being a manifestor is I don't need to wait for permission from any other human design type. I'm inspired with the idea, so I can go and I can set it in motion. But I need this space to be able to do that. And so, and also, I'm not going to lie to you, I want to work on my time like it's my full-time job this summer, and I want to hang out with my son, and I want to enjoy. Summer is my favorite season of the whole year, and I want to enjoy it. We have a beautiful backyard. It's like a literal oasis. Like I don't want to go anywhere. But to do that and to still be able to show up consistently over the summer, I have to right now set up myself in a way that that's possible, right? So, because we have to mix the woo and the do, right? That's my intention, but I have to actually get the things done. So I started thinking about, okay, well, what's the best way? And actually, before that was even my plan, I thought, what's the best way that I can create all the content I want to create without needing to be on all the time and need to have my face done and my hair done and my energy on, right? Because it's just not, even for any energy type, that's not feasible. That's not going to happen, right? So like Pam's saying, you need to understand how your own energy works and leverage it as best you can. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I know that I like recording videos. People have told me they like watching me on video. So I might as well leverage that and create videos and then repurpose those. But then I thought, I can double down of my energy by doing podcast interviews instead of just recording me talking. And not to say that I won't have future episodes of just me talking, but when we're having dynamic conversations like this, I'm recording a video, I'm having a conversation, I'm networking. You and I both get to leverage each other's audiences. And it's just like this beautiful, like you said, like I'm doing as much as I possibly can with as little time as possible so that I have all of these pockets in the rest of my schedule to do what I need to do. But for any other manifestors listening, you're going to go, that's a nightmare though, because you're going to record all these episodes in just a few weeks. So it's important to note, and I was saying this to Pam before we hopped on, I am being very intentional about being lazy on purpose when I'm not working. And because I know that as a manifestor, if I continue full steam ahead like that and then don't take any breaks, I will burn out before I'm done recording the episodes. And then I will still record the episodes and then they won't be as good quality as they could be if I had my energy on, right? Because Pam, I'm going to go off kind of on a tangent here for a second and ask you this. Can you, because I think there's a lot of moms listening who probably, even if they do understand their energy type, they maybe don't understand how they can leverage it as well as they possibly could. So what's happening is you can still push through. Like me as a manifester, I know I can still push through. I can make myself do what needs to get done, even when I'm clearly in a what do they call that? Like an energy dip. I mean, I very clearly, my body is telling me you need to stop. I can still do it. I can still push forward. But let's speak to the detrimental aspect of that, because, well, I'm going to let you tell me why that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Ask me how I know.
Sure.
Every single one of my chronic diseases. So the 3 chronic diseases that I have mentioned, and I had a bunch of stuff that happened in the middle. So and I think this is a perfect example where, so when I lost 120 pounds and everyone was celebrating me and I felt like crap, I ended up herniating a disc in my back. I ended up with inflammation in my feet on 6 months of bed rest because I went against my energy, pushed all the way through to lose that weight because I didn't surrender. I did not surrender to where I was. And I just pushed myself to the literal breaking point. Your body keeps score. You can take the break intentionally, or your body is going to force the issue. And it's going to show up as health issues. It's going to show up as chronic disease. It's going to show up as, a breakup. It's like, it can show up in a million different, it is going to show up, and it is going to force you to pay attention to what you are ignoring. And so this is so detrimental to your well-being, and you will end up with something that you do not want. And so I'm always like, please do not push yourself to the point where you are broken, because I abused my body until it broke, and it keeps score. You can only hold so much in your aura, because human design is the science of the aura, right?
Right.
So you only hold so much in your aura, and then you either have to expand your capacity, which requires a certain amount of energy just in itself to expand capacity, or something is going to happen. So what you really have to pay attention and intentionally remove the things from your aura that are not for you. Like, that is the quickest way for you to expand your capacity, increase your energy, come back to yourself, is to release the things that are no longer for you, that don't feel good, that don't need to be a priority right now. That and I know that can be really tough, particularly for moms who want to do all the things, and they want to be all the things to their kids. And they I totally understand that. Take it from a woman whose mother pushed herself past the point. That is not what your kids need from you. And that is not the example that you want to give your kids either, right? Like, you really want to be leading by example and showing them how miraculous and beautiful and fun life and business gets to be. And in order for you to do that, you have to have the capacity for it, and to be really intentional with nurturing you and your well-being.
Oh, you had me tearing up there for a minute, because you're right. I mean, your kids don't need a mom who's burnt out. And that's the problem. And that was kind of the turning point for me, actually. I was given an ultimatum, actually, is what happened. I didn't recognize it myself. You remember, we were working together. Or just before, we had done something together already. You were in actually, fun story. Pam and I actually go back further than when I started coaching. We actually met when we were both still in network marketing, which is like the gateway drug for a lot of us entrepreneurs, isn't it? But my husband gave me an ultimatum, because he was like, look, I was working full time. I was trying to get my business off the ground. It wasn't working. Left, right, and center, I was constantly snapping at everybody, and I was spending every waking second on everything else. And I was not being a good mom. I was being a good mom in the sense that I was doing what I needed to do to be a mom. I was, making lunches and getting him to daycare and, all the things that, are required of us, keeping everybody alive and everything. But I wasn't like emotionally, spiritually, I wasn't taking care of myself or anybody else. And my husband was finally like, look, this is working. I know that you have all these high hopes for all this success that you want to achieve, but the way we're going, if you ever get there, you will not have a family to enjoy it with at the other end. And I was like, okay, that stings. But he was right, and I could see immediately, I thought, okay, you're right. 100%, this is not working. I feel good. You don't feel good. I can see that my son doesn't feel good. I can tell in his energy and all of that. I think at one point he even started to, he developed a little bit of eczema on his arm. He doesn't have eczema. And I was like, oh my God. Because I knew enough at this point to know how the body keeps score, right? Like it didn't have the awareness in myself, but I could see it was happening to him. And I thought, oh my God, I can't. I'm creating eczema on my kid's arm. This is not good. And so I did take a step back, and it was a few months, and then I kind of eased back into it. Being a 1-3, have to learn things the hard way. So I am thankful that it happened, because it led me to creating what is now my mom method, right? Which helps people better leverage their time and their energy and manage it all so that they can go from juggling to balancing. But a lot of what you're talking about, Pam, and a lot of what was happening to me was I had a dysregulated nervous system, right? It's funny because human design, I love human design. I cannot go down the rabbit hole enough, because it's just like, I will never come back out. But it really is very much about regulating the nervous system, right? And so I know a lot of people talk about regulating the nervous system, but a lot of people don't really talk about how they can do that. So Pam, if you could just give me a rundown, like what's regulating your nervous system actually mean, and how can a mom who's running around and doing all the things actually start to do this in a practical way, like in the middle of the busy day filled with meetings and snacks and hockey practice and all the things?
Yeah. So yeah, I know it means different things to different people. It's so important. Like literally the second piece of what I do with clients is nervous system regulation, because pretty much everyone who comes to me is stressed out, burning out, overwhelmed. Like it's so shit. Like there's so much going, and I mean, we're dealing with chronic disease. So on top of chronic disease. So it's like knowing what to do and how to really bring calm and intention into your body is really important. And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. So I think this is what is really important to recognize, is that it can be simple as, and what you do really is less important than how it feels in your body and being with yourself. Because you have to first get an awareness of what's happening inside of your body as things are happening. So it's this willingness to sit for 5 minutes at the beginning of the day and just be with your body and notice what thoughts, what sensations, what emotions, what feelings are coming through for you, and without making it mean anything. Because there's this huge thing happening right now that I see a lot in the world that's like A plus B must equal C. And that's just not true. And that's particularly not true when you're looking at the lens of human design, because every single person is so ridiculously unique. We cannot all follow the same methods. We can't do the same things. Like it needs to be individuated to you, your energy, your design. And really for me, the things that are most important are being with yourself, finding opportunities to connect to your body regularly, like through mindfulness, like whatever it is that works for you. Like it can be like 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. You'll be surprised at how much presence comes into your body when you allow yourself to be with yourself. Being present, put the phone down, leave. I know how easy it is to do business on the move. And it's kind of one of the things that people love to do I assume particularly moms who are like running around, bringing their kids all kinds of things. Like, oh, I can get so much done while I'm sitting here in the car, or I can do like, whatever. Is that what you need in this moment? And recognize like that connection to your body is everything. Your body is your divination tool. It is your tool to help you through everything. Your body has the answers to every question. So being able to bring presence and calm and moving your body and really honoring your vessel, doing something that you love just because you love it. Like this to me is imperative to a daily ritual. Like I don't care. It's 3 minutes of your day. If something that you love exclusively because you love it, because it lights you up, because it brings you joy, because it's fun. Like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever feels good to you and allowing yourself to reconnect. That is what regulates your nervous system, is that presence, that slowing down, that disconnection from your devices, that being present in your family. Like I don't even take my phone when I go to family events. I leave it home because I'm like, I want to be with my family. I want to be in this moment. I want to notice the sun on my skin when I'm walking. I want to hear the birds. I want to hear, like, I never walk with headphones. I'm always listening to nature. That is what regulates your system. You're allowing yourself to just be in the world.
Yeah, I love that so much. And it's funny, you think 5 minutes of presence, whether you're sitting in the van waiting for your kid to get out of soccer practice, or it's 5 minutes in the morning, or it's one of my clients does a driveway meditation, for 10 minutes, she kind of uses that as her buffer between, mom mode and business mode. She takes 10 minutes you would be surprised if you do that consistently. I mean, even just the first time, you'll notice a difference. Although the first time, like Pam said, is a little uncomfortable because a lot of us, especially moms, we're in go, go, go mode. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I can't be seen as lazy. And then we won't go into it, but then you layer on this extra programming of, performing to earn our worth. And, I'm the eldest daughter and I have to be productive and I'm only valuable if I'm doing well. And I don't want to add to anybody's burden. So I need to get good grades and, all of the things. Right? So the first couple of times you do it, it is uncomfortable. And 5 minutes feels like a freaking eternity. It does. But the more you do that, the easier it gets. And, something that I heard somebody say ages ago, I wish I knew where I got this from, but she said, if you feel like you don't have time to meditate, you need it more than anybody. Like, everybody has time, right? And this is something that I know, Pam, you and I had a conversation about this. The meditating starts just 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden you're like, I can go for 10. I can go for 15. It's not about making it long. That's not the point. I'm just saying the more you do it, the more you realize that, nothing's on fire while you're 5 minutes to yourself and it's going to be okay. And I love that you said you don't take your phone to family events. I take so many pictures. So I do take my phone, but I put it on airplane mode. Like we went for a hike yesterday and it was funny. I put it on airplane mode. I mean, partly to preserve my battery, but partly because I don't want to get notifications in the forest, right? Like I'm here with my family. We're hiking. We're having a good time. We want to spend time together. And we stopped to, water break and whatever. And my husband picked up his phone to send a snap to his work buddies or whatever. And then I was like, well, there's no service. He's like, what do you mean there's no service? I was like, oh yeah, maybe there is service. I don't know. My phone's like, I don't know, because I don't want to be bothered when I'm with my family. And I try very hard to make sure that I'm really only doing, especially business things, but I try to be away from my phone as much as I can. Once my son's home from school, really anything it can wait, but unfortunately you can do so much you can do so many productive things from your phone, right? Like you can order groceries from your phone. You can talk to your friends from your phone. You can check your calendar from your phone. You can check your banking from your phone. So we need to, I think a huge piece of this is just being more aware and more present with how you're spending your time and where you're sucking your energy. Because I don't really want to go off on this tangent either, but social media and just the way that we use our, like, it's designed to suck your energy so that you're spending all your time on these apps, right? And I love social media. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But I think we need to be more intentional about the way that we're using it and the time that we're dedicating to it. Like, I think it would be much more productive if all of us carved out a half an hour of our day to be on our phone, to do whatever you want. And then when that half an hour is over, okay, move on to something else. It's a huge time suck, right?
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah. We need to be more intentional, right? About the way that we're, okay. And do you have any thoughts on how our social media and the way that we use our devices is conflicting with our human design or with our nervous system regulation or with our chronic illness?
Oh, well, I mean, being like, you cannot be engaged in life if you're chasing eyes into a phone like that. And isn't that what life is meant to be? Like, your life is to be joyful and fun and exciting and full of people, places, and things that you love. If you love social media, I love social media. I love it. I was never the person that was like, oh, screw this. Like, I love it. Like, I'm like, let me be engaged in all places. That's my 4 energy. Like, my 4 energy loves to be in communities and involved and chatting and talking to people and interacting and my generator energy in response, right? I can respond to so many things. Like, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But yes, anything at all can disconnect you from self and from your body. That's interesting. Someone's sitting. Yeah. When we're talking about disconnection, you need to want to be aware of anything that is disconnecting you from your body and understand like what tools are best for you and your human design. Like there and ways of doing things that are better for you and your unique design. When I started my business, I did it all wrong. Like, one thing that I did right, except for I think my first launch, I was so excited that came through. So like that was like the generator energy. Because I didn't know anything about my human design at that point. But like in terms of in alignment with my energy and how I meant to do things, I was emulating someone else, you specifically. I loved you. I loved business. I loved you. I'm like, so I was following someone else's blueprint. So it's really important that you follow your own and that you get to understand that it's your business your way. You don't have to follow someone else's method. You are the strategy. Like, you and your energy are the strategy. That is the only strategy you are ever going to need in your business. So being really aware of what's disconnecting you from your unique energy, from your power. Like, don't outsource your power to social media. Don't outsource your power to a mentor. Don't outsource your power to anyone or anything. Come back to yourself, to your body, to your inner compass, to your inner knowing, and trust that again and again. That is where you will see success and you will see your energy go up and you will be more getting done in less time. And you will have this time, like this abundance of time. Like I have so much time. Like, and I have people who are like, oh, so is business busy? I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be busy. They had to leave a job to build a business that was like a job. Like I don't want another job. I want a business that supports me and my life. And having lots of open space on my calendar is really important to me. Like, that is a big part of my values. And I sacrifice that for anything. So having those strong values and making sure that you're connected deeply to your body and not outsourcing that energy to things like social media is really important.
So important. So important. And it's funny that you actually said about, building a business based on somebody else's design, because when I started my business, I also didn't know anything about human design. And I was following someone who I later learned was in hustle mode, dysregulated nervous system, who knows what else going on, right? And it was very much, and it was a kind of a cash injection, kind of a live launch business framework, which works. It does work. It worked for me, but I also burned out every single time. I remember one of my most successful launches. Now, this is also an upper limit thing. If you've read The Big Leap, which Pam, I know you have, but anybody listening, if you haven't read The Big Leap, you need to read The Big Leap. It's my favorite book. I should have an affiliate deal with this guy because this book is like, I talk about it all the time. But he talks about hitting an upper limit. And when you manifest something really incredible into your life, but you don't have the capacity to hold it, like Pam was talking about, if your aura hasn't expanded, you don't know how to harness your own energy to the point where you feel good and allow yourself to have it, and your nervous system is not regulated to receiving that good, it trips the thermostat on your feel good meter. And then you end up manifesting an upper limit. So for me, that usually manifests as either a fight with my husband or I get sick. And I remember I even did a live to talk about it because I had my best launch ever. I made like 14 grand in one day. I more than my goal for the month was 20 grand. And I think I made 37. And I was just like, was so excited, but I did it with a business plan that didn't work for my design. And there was obviously nervous system work to do. So I upper limited myself. And so it all went well and everything, but I got super sick. I was sick for like 3 weeks. Actually, in hindsight, I may have had COVID. I don't really know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the illness is. The point is, like Pam was talking about a little bit ago, we end up creating these situations as a result of not living within our design, right? It doesn't feel good. And so that's a big problem. So it's important that you understand, and this is why I say have a basic understanding of your design, because when you have a basic understanding of your design, you'll know where you are more likely to have the energy, where you should be leveraging your time better, how you should be delegating things, how you should be, like, now that I understand that a live launch method isn't best for my energy type, it's not that what I want to do is better or worse. And also, side tangent thing, nobody's strategy or ideas or whatever are better than anybody else's. It all works. Like Pam said, you are the strategy. I love that. You are the strategy. You have to feel into what feels best for you. And this applies to motherhood, to life in general as well, right? Because how you do one thing is how you do all things anyway. So you need to think about what's going to be best for me. What's going to feel the best? Because whatever feels the best is also going to make you the most magnetic to all of the good things, right? So when we're talking about business specifically, if you're worried about this person saying that their method is better for launching, and first of all, they're just trying to sell you their thing. Okay. So it all works. It doesn't matter. If you can align your energy with the thing that you are doing and selling, it doesn't matter how you sell it. It doesn't matter how you present it. It doesn't matter how you put it together, because it's your energy that sells the thing anyway. And when you, like Pam is saying, when you tap into your joy every single day and you do something that you love to do, like something I love to do is paint rocks. I discovered this totally by accident. I freaking love it. And the more time I spend doing that, the more money comes to me, which is funny because painting rocks has nothing to do with money. I don't sell the rocks. I don't post it on Etsy or Pinterest or anything. I literally paint them for me. And it like opens this like beautiful vortex of just goodness. Okay. So you need to be doing things that feel good to you. And so it's so important that you have a basic understanding of what your design is, and that you, like Pam is saying, you cut off the leaks that aren't that. Just whatever it is, cut it out, because you don't need it. You can delegate it. You can change it. You can shift it. Nobody's ideas are better than anybody else's. You just need to do what aligns with you. And this is why it's also important that you stop comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing, because you, first of all, what you're seeing is what they want you to see. Like, even if you're talking to your best friend ever, if they don't want you to know something, they're not going to tell you, you know? So, and really the only person who really fully knows what's going on with you, what you've been through, what you've accomplished, what you're working towards, how it feels, how it's going, is you anyway. And you need to be in integrity with you and what you need and what you want and what feels good. And that's the bottom line. And that's, I think, why I love human design so much, is it really does give you the permission to just, no, this is what feels good to me. This doesn't feel good to me. This is what I want. I don't want this. And that's what it is. Like, for, in a kind of a goofy example, when I started my business, I was focusing generally in manifestation and mindset. And everybody around me was saying, you have to manifest specifically, get specific. How many bedrooms does your house have? Where do the windows face? How much money is your bank account? Blah, blah, blah. Well, then I learned that I'm a non-specific manifester, which was like, duh, because I'm always focusing on how it feels, not what it looks like. Right. And the other side tangent again, sorry. The other benefit of focusing on what it feels like, and Pam will 100% agree with me, when you focus on what it feels like, it's easier for you to collapse time and make that your reality, because it's not like when you say your goal is 10K months, for example. That's fine. And that's a good goal. I'm not saying that can't be your goal. But if you focus more on how it feels to have the freedom that comes with the 10K a month that you're actually after, because it's the feeling you're after anyway, when you focus on that, you can actually tap into that feeling now. It's not like there's like a new set of emotions that unlocks when you hit that 10K months. Okay. The feeling that comes with that is available right now. So maybe you get that feeling when you go to the dollar store, and it's just the dollar store, but at the dollar store, you can load up your basket with whatever you think is cool. And it's not going to break the bank. You're not going to go over, it would be, I don't know. I have never spent $100 at the dollar store, and I love the dollar store. I like it for like arts and crafts and things and whatever, it doesn't matter. But in that moment, you can tap into what it feels like to have financial freedom, because in that instance, you have that financial freedom. And then you've collapsed timelines right then, right? And you can tap into that feeling. And the more you do that, which is why Pam is saying you need to be doing something every single day that you love, because ultimately, isn't the life that you're creating and manifesting full of moments that you love? Like, isn't that the whole point? So the more time you can spend in moments you love now, the more you are collapsing time, because everything is energy and frequency anyway. And that's why we love human design so much, is because it's energy and frequency, right? I went off on a tangent. I apologize. But if you know me, you know that, if you know, it's fine. So back to you, Pam. So you've created your divine design, and you created that to support women living with chronic illness. So tell us, how did that help women, moms, whoever, reclaim a sense of power and possibility in their everyday lives?
It reconnects to you. And that is the whole point of this program. And I hate even calling it a program. It's an experience. It's an immersion. It is like everything that I do is an experience. I am here to like hold you and lift you up and support you and really help you understand, not like, because I'm working mostly with human design newbies, people who are new to human design, who really don't know a whole lot. Like, they might have some understanding, but they're not really using it. So it's this opportunity to help you step into your power, to your unique energy, to your natural energy, and getting in touch with the one that you were before the world told you who to be. It is the true you, the person you were born to be. We're covering like every beautiful nuance of you in a 16-week period, really connecting you to your unique energy, and you break free from the hustle, helping you bring some regulation into your body, taking really incredible care of you, like moving joyfully through your day. Even when you're navigating chronic illness, like, because just because you have a chronic disease doesn't mean you are defined by that disease. And you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances ever. Like, that victim mentality, like recognizing when you're playing in that energy, because we all do it. Like, we all play in the victim mentality. It's being able to recognize and be like, no, I don't want to play here. I want to play over here. I want to play in queen energy. Let me be open to receive. Let me be like the warrior. And like, it doesn't need to be like, it gets to be this beautiful, empowering experience where it doesn't look the same every day. Because I think this misconception here that consistency means you have to do the same thing every day in exactly the same way. Oh my God, gross. My whole body recoils at, like, I love mixing it up and trying different things and playing. Like, let's play. Come and play with your design and let me help you understand what it means to you, how you can connect more deeply to it so that you can reclaim the person that you always were, and that you can make these decisions for your life and for your business with like this calm and confidence. Like, no more allowing yourself to be led by fear and by lack, but to be like, I am abundant, I am beautiful, I am magnetic, and I am here to attract everything that I want, and I am committed to living my life on my terms. And this is the program. Like, this is what we do together. This is the work that we do in this. I am so excited. Can't stop.
No, I wasn't picking that up at all. No, I love it so much too, because what you're doing very much mirrors, you know, what I'm doing in different ways. But, you know, you've heard me say before, everything comes back down to who you're being, who your identity, you know, the woman that you are. But a lot of people get mixed up in thinking that they need to become something else. You are already who you need to be. You just need to remove all of the crap in the way that's like you said, take away who you have been told you need to be, who you've been programmed to be, who other people have said you are, and get back to who you actually are, the true nature of who you came here to be and the life that you came here to live. Because everything that you want to experience in your life, everything that you dream of having, everything that you're scripting in your journal, everything that you're visualizing, everything that you're even just watching in movies and TV shows, and you're thinking, you know, oh, I really wish I could have that, or wouldn't it be nice to have that? Because you don't think about it for a second. You don't think that for every single scene of a show that you're watching. It's just certain things. You're like, oh, I like that chandelier, or I'd like to have my closet look like that, or I'd really like to have this kind of lifestyle, or those things are meant for you. That's why you have a desire for them, right? And what Pam's program experience will help you do is get back to the true root of that woman, who then magnetizes so easily those things to her, because that's what happens when you are in your true essence, when you strip away all of the things that you're not, that you're trying to be, that somebody else told you that you are, or that even you used to be but no longer are, right? We've been evolving. This is something else, side tangent really quickly. This is something else that was kind of difficult for me to grasp at first, is that just because we were once this way doesn't mean we still are. You know, like I used to say there's no higher beings than humans, there's no God, there's no universe, there's no nothing. And then here I am, you know, 10, 15 years later, preaching about God and the universe and all this stuff. And I was like, people are going to think I'm totally weird. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Like, obviously we can have realizations and change how we view things and like our fears. I used to be really afraid of clowns. And then I realized, first of all, I think I was only afraid of clowns because my friend was afraid of clowns. So I then was afraid of clowns. And then I realized they're really not that scary, and there's nothing, it doesn't, you know, and we can evolve out of that. And actually really funny, I was doing a personality test, you know, those, I don't know what it's, Myers-Briggs, I think it is, where it's the 4 letters, which take it or leave it, whatever. I prefer human design, but I had to do it for this thing that I was applying for. And I used to be something else. INTJ, I think. I forget now. I don't know. But I was doing this thing, and it spat out this different set of letters. And I thought, what? No, I'm a this. And I thought, what? Okay, no. Hang on a second. Maybe you were that. But now, as you've evolved and stepped more into the woman you are and stripped away things that you've been told you are, maybe now you're this. And that's okay to be, you know, different. And we don't need to hold ourselves in boxes. We don't need to hold the people in our lives in boxes. You're growing and fluid and expanding, and we should, you know, everybody else has the same opportunity as well. So obviously, I'm a huge fan of Pam's work, obviously. So Pam, I'm going to leave all the links below, but where's the best place for somebody to just come and hang out and be in your space in your area?
Definitely my Facebook group. That is where the magic happens. Like, that's where the behind the scenes fun stuff is going I've recently made this really big switch. So there's a lot of vulnerability happening in that group, a lot of honest talk, a lot of real talk about what it looks like to live a life that you love and what it feels like and how you can step into your unique design. So it's a beautiful place and super fun. Right now, especially, we're doing this like wellness series where I'm literally taking you on a journey through your body. And it's just so good. Like, so it's obviously so fun.
Amazing, amazing. So yes, I will leave links for all of the things down below, including so you can get more information on your divine design experience. Because I mean, whether you have a chronic illness or not, I think this is a place that you need to be if you're really looking to come back to yourself and discover who you are and strip away all of the things. So I will leave links for all of that below, and you can follow Pam and you can get to know her better. Let's just close with this. If a mom listening today could walk away with just one belief shift or one tangible, actionable step, or you could leave them with one thing, what would you want her to carry into the rest of her day, her week, her life, maybe even?
Oh, Lord. One thing. I mean, be true to you. Like, at a soul deep level who you are. That feeling that you have that you are meant for more, that is there for a reason. Trust it, get to know yourself fully. And if you need to start somewhere with human design, just start with your type. Like, start with if all you ever learned about was your type, oh my word, like even that amount of information is going to change your life because you are made to move through this world in a certain way. And when you embrace that and you remove the things that aren't that, things get so much more fun. You get so much more done. And it's this beautiful homecoming. That's what I love to say again and again. Like, it's this beautiful homecoming where you're so proud of who you are and what you're doing and the magic that you're making in the world. And you get to truly understand and embrace all the parts of you, which is beautiful and amazing.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here with me, Pam. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody listening has gotten something. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't have gotten something out of this episode. I would love it if you would leave us a comment or a review down below. I am so glad that we got to have this conversation because it's such an important one. And I am so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.